Shiver me timbers, who goes in the forms of the actual pirate's ocean? Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mickey Mouse here once again, and I'm back for some more of the yet again for the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we have done Levitated Ruin, and also we've managed to obtain ourselves the Blue World Ring, and managed to rescue Sinbad, and that's all I can say about this. So, excuse me. So yeah, today for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we're going to be taking on World 5 in the game, and as the forms of Pirate Storm, bandits roam through the Tempest, so I think that's about it. That's what it says on that description of the actual world itself. So, now, of all the worlds we're going to be running into at this particular game, this is actually one of my least favorite worlds of the game. I don't know why I truly say that, but actually I'll get more details onto that as soon as we're able to jump in. But first off, let's go and double check in here. I think I should probably equip this speed up upgrade right about now, so that way we should be all set and done. So, and because of that though, I'm quite surprised we're almost nearly towards the end of the game already, I just realized, because, well, after breezing for those levels, or in this case in missions rather, are going pretty by far quicker though. Assuming if you actually know what you're doing with the actual game itself, even if you want to do a speedrun tactics like I do, then the actual main story of the game might actually go down very easily, and plus it will take a really quicker time. Well, at least it can't be the same thing for Sonic and the Black Knight as well, because of how the fact with the actual short length, if you don't able to be bothered to deal with every kinds of missions out there. But hey, at least it's something for that part. So anyway, so here's Pirate Storm, or in this case, is it Pirate Storm? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Pirate Storm. Yeah, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is actually one of my least favorite worlds of the game for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it'll probably be because of how the fact that whenever I first got the game back in the day, about a decade ago, I just had this horrible memories about the fact that I just got so frustrated with the forms of the, let's just say the second boss fight we're going to be run into, but we're not going to get in more details onto that as soon as we actually proceed into the actual world itself in Pirate Storm, so that I digress. So, a few things I just want to explain about this actually, because of that though, recently, how the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that, well, about time actually, to able to have the Incredibles 2 DVD release in the forms of the UK version is going to release into at some point in the 12th of November, 4 days before Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee editions for the Nintendo Switch. So speaking of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee editions, recently the fact that Nintendo has recently announced that there's going to be making a Nintendo Switch version, or especially with the actual Nintendo Switch console, of the forms of the Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee editions theme. Like, for instance, it gets like all kinds of patterns here and there in the forms of not just the actual unit, but also by the forms of the Switch dock. Because you can see by the fact that it shows the images of both Pikachu and Eevee, that you can actually see by 2 different sides. And in addition to that, they also bring us to ourselves 2 new colors as for Joy-Con's colors choices. Like, for instance, they show us the forms of the yellow Joy-Con, in this case a Pikachu version of the Joy-Con, and especially noticeable with the brown Joy-Con, this means represents Eevee. So yeah, that's very cool, especially noticeable how the fact that I'm really not 100% sure about the fact that those 2 Joy-Con bundles might come in sold separately, or maybe it's just only the console itself. So even then, we'll see what happens there. That first though, I'm probably not going to get because, well, it might be very difficult to able to jump through that, so I might as well just skip it. So, oh well though. In fact, yeah, another thing I just want to explain about this, naturally speaking of which, is the fact that, recently they did show us the forms of the new gameplay footage of the forms of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee edition, which, still, I'm actually looking forward to that, because even then, I've never a hardcore Pokemon fan to begin with, though, at least in my experience anyway, though, because I haven't really played too much on Pokemon these days, aside from spin-off series, by the forms of, like, you know, Pokemon Snap. I remember Pokemon Snap. It is definitely one of my favorite games on the N64. And I'm just really hoping that Pokemon Snap will make a comeback. in new forms of the Nintendo Switch at some point or something like that. But I digress. So anyways, if you homie attack onto those swords here, by the way, for this particular level, you can actually skip the entire of these little saw blades that you can't be bothered to be able to get hit by those. So I hate this part so much, speaking of which, because not only do you able to actually go across the forms of a wild water streaming right there, but also by the forms of how the fact that every time you step onto one of those platforms, as you can see there, it crumbles. So even then though, we need to able to be sure, we need to watch out for those, because even then, if you fall into the water, you have to restart where the checkpoint is. So, at least this game does feel very forgiving when it comes to like checkpoints and all that stuff. But at least I can give it that much. Unlike in Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, at least on the NES version instead of the Famicom version. So, anyways though, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, but it forms about the fact that, well, I'm probably not going to get another Nintendo Switch console because, as usual, I've already got one. And second of all, I was probably expecting I could able to get these two different colored Joy-Cons sold separately, but we'll find out sooner or later. But even then, though, we've only got about 2 months time before the actual game is about to be released. And son of a... Oh, these spike balls sometimes. They always appeared all over the place sometimes. But even then, though, we'll just have to cope with this, I suppose. And for this final part right there, although too late, Showa. But because of that, though, we reached at the very end. Because we need to avoid a lot of cannonballs, as you can see right there. Because I'm presuming these cannonballs can usually shoot out the pirate ships, so we need to avoid that. So, yeah, that was about it. But in forms of go for the goal mission in Pirate Storm. And we actually leveled up to level 19. So let's see what ability we've got. Rocket Start. Faster speed burst, then mini turbo. I think I should probably equip that. Because that would be very good, especially notable in the starting point of the countdown. So I think it functions the same thing as, you know, the mini turbo ability. But you know, you get the idea.
There they are!
They must have the ring that lets them control the power of storms.
Shoot first and ask questions later, huh? That's pirates for you.
Come on, let's just hurry.
All right, fine. Let's do it.
Alright, so what's next then? Well, turns out in order to actually just get to the actual world ring, the next mission we might as well go for next is Die Hard Challenge, Don't Get Defeated. So, oh boy. So I probably should able to skip over head-to-head missions because, well, for the most part though, I think there's only about, let's just say, 2 of those head-to-head missions that are pretty much mandatory. Like, one we've already done is the forms of Sand Oasis, and there's going to be the second one, which we might actually discuss more into that as soon as we're able to proceed to the game. And unfortunately, I don't have that enough points to, to be able to actually equip that Rocket Start. So even then, I might as well. Okay, that works. But even then, that because sometimes configuring those movesets can be a little bit complicated at times, but as long as I can able to actually know what I'm doing, I should be fine. So, okay then. So let's get to it with Die Hard Challenge in Pirate Storm. This is where the game starts to get tremendously difficult, especially noticeable if you have a first time playing the game, and I managed to fail my rocket start, so that's no good. But on the plus side though, we can able to keep our speed going, especially noticeable when we're trying to, like, you know, you get the drill from that point. Alright, so... Oh, by the way, we're actually introducing these enemies here. Whenever they're trying to able to perform a somewhat of an electrifying technique, do not homie attack them because it might decide to hurt you a bit. So, it's gonna have to be stay sharp on that one. So, alright, let's go ahead and just homie attack onto that barrel, so it should be safe and done. Silver rings, it's not kind of worth it for my liking, but it can be useful at some parts. And yeah, this is what I was talking about. If you press the 2 button when you're trying to get onto the catapult, you can simply just jump off from it. So even then, though, that if you want to able to go to that normal route, or even especially noticeable if you want to get that Fire of Soul like I just did there, then you can able to actually just press the 2 button to able to jump off the catapult. So Whoa, that was very close. Almost flew off, but in forms of a collision issue or something like that. Well, thankfully though, this game doesn't have any of those collision stuff. Well, sometimes anyway though, if you manage to like... Let's just say, if you go for the goal mission, but in forms of, in this level in particular, if I remember correctly, if you manage to use the speed break by complete accident, if you manage to able to bypass those, breakable blocks or something like that after defeating enemies, you'll manage to able to clip through the ground. I think that's why I've encountered that in Pac-Man 94, playthrough of that game. But that's how I think it is. Fire Tackle increases attack power when performing a short jump. I rarely use that, to be honest. Other than that, it can be very useful as far as I've heard. Anyways, now we're done with that, and now let's move on to the next mission, and that is the forms of the stealth attack. So once again, we need to sneak bypass every kinds of enemies, so I believe, if I remember correctly, this might be the final time for doing this, because after that, then we're pretty much done with being stealthy here. So even then, unless if you want to able to go for like optional missions, if you want to able to go for that, but if you want to 100% through everything, especially notable if you want to level up your Sonic character, then you would able to actually do this. So, but you need to be very careful though to not to attack all kinds of enemies though. So that's what happens though. That's how it usually happens. So okay, let's just wait. Boom! Because that way you should able to hold the attack onto that spring. And that way we should able to proceed throughout. So yeah, there's not much else to think about other than that. I was very excited by the forms of the actual like Kingdom Hearts 3 showcase has been still continuing. In fact, they finally recently okay, there are checkpoints, good. But anyways though, I think the reason why that oh Christ, oh that was really close. Sometimes that could collusion right there with the forms of the rail grinding, sometimes it can be very fragile at points, but even then, apart from that though, because I was keep on maximize my movesets and all that stuff, I think that's what usually happens most of the time. But on the other hand though, that part is not too bad, but it doesn't even compare to this section after those whole plenty of dash panels we have to go through. Because of that, oh crap, I need to, you know, backstep through here, and because of that, I need to get myself my Fire Soul, so just in case I would, able to continuously leveling up for my experience points department. So anyways though, and this is why you need to be very careful, and here's the thing about this, there is no drop shadow, because you have to guess where you're supposed to land on, because although there's a little bit of a drop shadow over there, but it kind of reminds me of the forms of the second Werehog section in the forms of the Eggman Land level in Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360/PlayStation 3. Because that section also has a bit of a nonsensical drop shadow departments, because even then though, if you do not know where exactly you're going to land, then you might as well able to continuously die. Although, good thing about this though is the fact that, you know, this game doesn't have extra lives, because even then, if it does have extra lives, then, well, it might be a completely different story to you. So, anyway though, so now we've unlocked those two missions, collect the rings, which I might as well pass, and we'll go ahead and deal with the another Rampage mission, ever since you're doing the likes of, you know, both Dinosaur Jungle and Levitated Ruins, so, yeah, that might be a third time for doing this. So, and as we might think so, is that much like in Levitated Ruin, we need to defeat about 20 of those enemies. So if we do that, then we pretty much get a guarantee we can able to... Hopefully we might as well finish up this world entirely. So even then though, unless if you're able to try to go for like optional missions if you want to go for those. Well, usually for the most part though. So anyways, there's the first Fire Soul from here. So yeah, every nowadays, how the fact that I pretty much find this world not to be not much of an issue this time around. Unlike whenever I first got the game back in about a decade ago, I just got simply frustrated, most notably because of the next mission after this. And you probably know why what I'm talking about, but even then, we'll get to that point shortly afterwards. So, but of course I keep on getting owned by the forms of those cannonballs here, and there's the Fire Soul if you want able to grab that while simply activating the Time Break ability. And yes, that's what Time Break usually does, it just slows down time. So even then though, can be very useful though, as far as I haven't mentioned about this before, but it might be very recommendable though if we get to the very end of the game, especially with boss fights departments or something like that. But anyways, there is a little bit of a secrecy in this level though, but I probably won't show that off, because I'm probably going to be able to just mainly focusing on the main story. Although I would able to talk through that, as soon as we're able to proceed on to the next world, or especially noticeable from different worlds else. So, anyways, there's the last fire soul. It's very difficult though to get to, because although there's actually this one unique ability that is very useful if you want to able to go after every single fire souls in the game, and since we're in loop, that means that characters will actually repeat every single line. So nothing changes and nothing that usually just matters to me for the most part, because even then though, unlike in the Levitated Ruin level, that, well, you know. Alright, get through these last two enemies, and we are done. So let's see how well we did. Bronze. Typical bronze medal. I think I must have done this mission quite slowly, so I think it's mainly something to do with the actual spinning saw blades or something like that. So Anxious Slider increases defense power while sliding. I'm probably not going to use that. On the other hand, increases attack power while sliding, so I should able to equip that. Grandly gaining experience points while sliding. I think I rarely use that, but not by much to me though. But I think I should go for Volcano one. I think that's the only one I could recommend. But you know, you get the drill from this point.
Someone's looking for a duel.
Sonic!
This should be interesting. Come on, let's have some fun.
Oh, yes. This particular guy. Which, in this case, I believe we might actually come across into our second boss fight, which is known as Captain Bemoth. So, this is the boss fight I was talking about whenever I managed the first time I played the game, that I've seemed to get a lot of frustration with this boss fight. But because of that, again, I'll explain more on that as soon as we're able to actually get to the actual boss fight itself. But let's go ahead and equip ourselves the forms of the Volcano Slider, and especially with the power resets that I've accidentally just managed to able to turn that ability off. And then luckily though, since we actually level up, that means we can able to actually use the power resets again. So anyways, let's get to it with Captain Bemoth. So let's get into this. Alright, so here we go folks, this is the forms of the Captain Bemoth, and basically the actual main mechanic of this particular boss is the fact that we need to take down not one, not two, not three, but 4 horns to take out, because that's his weakness. So because of that though, you have to waggle the Wii remote like a whole bunch of times in this boss fight, more so than any other boss fights in the actual Sonic series, unless if you want to account for Sonic and the Black Knight, they have to use the swordplay mechanics. But even then though, you're gonna have to keep on doing that a lot in this boss fight, even then. That, I remember that back in about, yeah, that's what I was gonna be saying for that particular boss fight itself. That one time when, me and, Shadow managed to able to actually share the Wii, the Nintendo Wii for each other, and then Shadow was going really mad at one point, and then as a result, whenever he keep on dying on this boss fight though, he just breaks our first ever Wii remote, the actual Nintendo Wii remote that we've got for our first Nintendo Wii. So that is so agonizingly, well, I hate to say it, but it's just how the fact that it's just absolutely hypocritical for Shadow anyway. Because of that though, because he was in a bit of a tempo mood. But since we're in, you know, 2018 right about now, then as long as you're able to know what the actual boss fight itself works, then I have no issues with that, like, really, forever. Because I know exactly how this just sounds. But, obviously we do need to be very careful though, because not only because he spewts out those, cannon shots, or in this case projectile shots, but also he starts to send out those little type of like wave attack, which depends on what arms he's using. You can dodge it from either left or right. So, and be very careful on this part there, because as soon as he starts to doing that, he's able to actually do a little bit of a electrifying attack. So, and you need to get off the horns immediately though before you don't get hit by it. So, yeah, that's how it works. Come on, finish him off. Okay. Whew. Alright, so as soon as you're done with all 4 horns, then the actual Captain Bemoth is done. So it's not that bad of a boss fight though, at least in my opinion though. I know some people seem to have a lot of frustrations with this boss fight though, especially whenever they first time play the game, so I can at least understand that. So anyways, fantastic gold medal. That's the way. I'm pretty much top notch at this. Alright, so since we're done with that, and we've leveled up to level 22, and do we get any of those abilities? Oh, really? None of those abilities. That's lame. Oh well.
That's another of the 7 rings. The water blue ring. I can't even touch the ring.
Looks like I'm the only one that can touch them. I bet you it's because I'm not from this world. Does that mean these rings aren't from this world either?
Sonic.
This has to be the ring that Sinbad was telling us about before. Now, let's go back and defeat that, whatchamacallit?
The Ifrit, the great spirit of fire.
There's smoke coming from the castle. It looks like the Ifrit's power to burn the world away is getting stronger.
Okay, I'm ready. I hope you're ready for this, Genie.
So with that, we've actually got ourselves the most mandatory world ring in the game, the Water World Ring. Or to be more accurately though, the light blue ring. Well, at least the light blue world ring. I think that's a bit of a mouthful. So anyways though, we're pretty much done with the forms of the Captain Bemoth first of all, and also Pirate Storm, Steve Venendo, that, well, it's not that bad of a world, it's just that there's gonna be plenty of times you might as well die occasionally. Mainly the forms of the Die Hard challenge, and especially noticeable there's gonna be like, too much things is gonna kill you, and that's what I can really think about. I think the music is alright, but not the greatest in my opinion. But even then though, we're pretty much done with Pirate Storm for a certain amount of time. So now we've collected 4 world rings for now, and now we can able to go back and explore Evil Foundry for about for a second time. Because of that, now we can do some more things here and there. And because of that though, the fact that the water blue ring can able to actually control storms. And what can we do with it? Well, as soon as we're able to actually, hopefully we're trying to meet up with Ifrit, the one time we haven't dealt with him yet. That way we can able to actually hopefully try to finish him off as possible. So, yeah, that's how it usually goes as far as proceedings will go. So, yeah, there's not much else to discuss. So anyways, I'm gonna really dig into this music, by the way, because, you know, it reminds me of Commander My 456 all over again. But anyways, avoid that explosion tank right there if you don't want to get your rings being taken off. So, that's all you have to do for this point. And speed break! And we immediately there. So, how well do we done? Silver medal. Oh, guess I might as well take silver medal any day more than the gold medal is. I think the reason why is because, well, I just don't know what to think about for the time. So anyways. Alright, so Soul Zorba gives a soul gauge boost when you land. I honestly rarely use that, other than it might be useful, but I just don't use it.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I didn't mean to leave you hanging earlier. You're not still mad at me, are you? You really need to learn to be more patient, you know? Now, Ring of Water, bring forth the mighty storm!
Sonic, look! The Ifrit is getting weaker!
Okay, now let's finish him off!
So generally, we can actually able to deal with not 1, but 2 boss fights for today. So yeah, double the bill I suppose. So here we go with the next boss fight, in this case the 3rd boss in this game, the Ifrit Golem. So even then though, that now we can able to actually deal with him because he's now weak. Because of that though, we use the water blue ring to able to weak his strength down. So now we can finish him off for good. So here we go with the forms of Ifrit Golem. Now, especially noticeable if you actually manage to use the Fire Gaze ability than the ones I've just shown you right there. This boss is extremely easy if you manage to able to actually use the Fire Gaze ability. Because, as you can see, that not only that it actually deals the single amount of damage when you're trying to homing attack him completely, but also it deals a double amount of damage if you manage to use the Fire Gaze. Especially if you want to able to deal with like, let's just say the first section you're gonna have to deal with before you're trying to properly deal the damage of him. You need to able to take down, it doesn't matter which side you might actually gonna go for, like the left or the right-handed. So I suggest you're able to homing attack onto those 3 spots right there, onto this knuckles part, and that way you should able to actually take the hands down. But as soon as you're able to actually be incredibly stunned, then you would able to actually approach onto its proper weak spot, which is on top of his head. And then, as long as you're able to homing attack onto him, let's just say about 2 or 3 times, or 2 to be more precise if you want to able to homing attack into him once, and then use the actual, like, the Fire Gaze ability, they can do a goddamn amount of damage. I think this is honestly the easiest method to deal with, because not only it just makes this boss fight a lot easier, but it's also, it might actually do like a quickest run as possible, like I just did there. So yeah, that's the only ability I used it for some points, but I usually use this mostly for this boss fight alone. And because of that, you get yourselves a brand spanking gold medal. So yeah, not bad of a boss fight at all. So anyways, level 24. Let's see, did we get something for once? Of course we have. A quick high step allows you to move more smoother than a quick step. Rocket boost acceleration increases more than with turbo boost. I think I should definitely equip that, just in case I can get even much more speed than ever. So, well, not until the next mission.
What the?
What is this thing? Is something about to hatch?
I can hear something like a heartbeat.
Shara? I think that might be some sort of time bomb.
It's beating faster.
Oh no! This can't be good! We've got to get out of here! This thing has to explode out in the open!
You're right.
Oh no, it's gonna explode. What are we gonna do now? Because we actually have one more mission left in Evil Foundry, and that's the forms of Beat the Clock mission. And in order to actually do with this one, is to find the exit in time. Because of that, if you think that this particular object right there can be very harmless, but it turns out it was actually the explosive bomb, see Veneno, or some sort of like a time bomb. See Veneno, that we need to able to actually get that thing out of it, and we can able to actually don't die by the explosion itself. Well, it usually doesn't show us the forms of the explosion in time, so anyways, let's get to it. The final time we're going to be exploring this place, so let's get to it. And I believe, as far as I'm concerned with this mission, is the fact that we're going for the level backwards, so that's kind of interesting to say the least, especially noticeable that it reminds me of the forms of a Nathaniel Bandy YouTube channel that he did recently done most of those racing games racetrack-wise in all in reverse, which I will admit though right away that he does that very, very well done, especially noticeable how the fact that he did manage to go through like every single Mario Kart game. Oh no! I did waste that time right there. Did I manage to? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let's just restart this. I think this might actually be my first time I'm actually gonna be resetting this mission, because of that though, I did not know as I was expecting for that part, so. But on the plus side though, in this mission though, you do have let's just say 180 seconds to do this in this particular time limit thing, or in this case 3 minutes to escape in this place. So, and if we don't make it there in time, then we're probably not gonna succeed for this mission. Because of that though, we need to be absolutely perfect in this mission though, so don't take your time. Because of that though, well, you can get some time for 2 minutes or 1 minute, but don't take too long with the forms of 3 minutes, because if it reaches to 3 minutes, then you're probably going to fail this mission entirely, and you have to do it all over again. Well, going back into the very end to the beginning, so, at least for more accurately, how the hell? How come that smash compactor just pushed me back? This is ridiculous. Anyways though, oh, I'm really gonna miss this place, especially with this particular theme song in the forms of that "Who's Gonna Rock the Place" theme music, because of that, of the actual triumph of the forms of you know, Commander by 456 and stuff. One thing I forgot to mention with the forms of the theme song of the forms of you know, oh, what's the level I was going to be thinking of? Oh yes, Pirate Storm. Now the fact that that particular theme is actually known as No Way Through. So even then though, that is one point things out what that theme song is actually called. So yeah, that should be worth mentioning. So, and in fact, the very end of the level is just right over there. Even though we didn't climb up the actual wall, unlike the Go for the Goal mission. Oh, damn it! I was so close to get the gold medal. And by the way, if you manage to get the gold medal on this level though, you get yourself one of the best abilities in the game, which is called the Fire Launcher. I'll explain more on that later, but for now, the S Pearl Collector increases the area in which you can collect pearls over Pearl Collector, so it's basically ability. So I think I should probably go to equip that, but not until when we get to later missions down the road, I don't think. And we've unlocked the new world by the forms of Skeleton Dome. But even then, no, we're not going to get into that until the next video, so... Oh, we actually unlocked one mission, and another mission for, what else, the new world.
Come on, we're almost there! Huh? Hey, look at this!
Is that what I think it is?
Yep, another one of the 7 world rings!
I wonder if it was inside the Ifrit this whole time.
I feel rage! All that rage must have been sealed up inside of him!
Rage?
These rings must somehow seal in various emotions, too! The power of rage! So then what's next?
Let's go meet with King Solomon. King Solomon is the one who sealed away the evil spirits long ago. These strange occurrences must connect back to him somehow.
Okay then, off to our next adventure.
What, do you mean like Sonic Adventure 3 or something like that? Oh no, I'm just kidding. Anyways though, we've actually got ourselves the forms of the 5th world ring, and that's the forms of the red world ring, which appears to be inside in this bomb this entire time, which is kind of bizarre, but world ring is a charm then, I suppose. So anyways though, we got to end things off at this point right there, I'm afraid guys, so join me next time on Let's Play Sonic and the Secret Rings, is the fact that we're going to be taking on the new world in the game, Skeleton Dome. So see you guys then. Later fellas.